Welcome to Storytime, where we dive into real stories from the internet. Today's post comes from Reddit Am I the A-hole? Right? Where people ask questions and we weigh in on whether they're in the right or in the wrong. Let's get right into it. So today we have Am I the asshole for not agreeing to pick up my niece at 3 a.m.? No questions asked. This happened a little over a week ago, and I'm still catching shit for it, so I thought I'd seek judgment. My sister had her friend over, and they were in the lounge with my sister's kid who was 13. I'm not sure of the exact conversation before I went in, but I heard the friend, Julie, tell my niece, Sam, that if she needed to be picked up from somewhere, it didn't matter where, when, or why she'd be there. That she could call her at 3 a.m. from the boonies. This is a local lingo that refers to an abandoned factory complex where interesting stuff happens about 40 minutes out of town. And she'd be there in her pajamas with McDonald's, no questions asked. Sam thought this was amazing and was spewing praise to Julie, who said it was nothing and that anyone would do the same. Then they seemed to notice I was around and Julie asked me if I would do the same. I said no, and that seemed to stop everyone in their tracks. So I clarified that yes, I would pick her up, and there certainly would be questions, and there would be crazy to not have questions. Sam said that I wasn't allowed to ask questions, and it was none of my business. And Julie was glaring at me for some reason and muttering something I couldn't hear under her breath to my sister. I did explain my reasoning, which was the booties are over half an hour away, and there is no public transport to get there. If Sam was at the boonies at 3 a.m. and discounting the fact that she shouldn't be there, she would not have to go alone. So there's another child to consider, and she doesn't have any friends old enough to drive yet. So someone would have to have taken them there. So I would need to firstly know she was safe and unharmed, and at the minimum, who she went with, how she got there, and where her friend was. If her friend went back with whomever brought them, then sure, I would just take Sam home. But if her friend was still there, then you can bet your ass we'd be staying till her friend was in the back seat and on her way back home too. Sam got really huffy and said it was still none of my business and even less about who she would have gone there with, and Julie made a comment about how it's not that deep. I said that I said that it was that deep, and I knew how Sam worked. If I did agree to no questions asked approach, it did I did need to pick her up and then questions. Let me read that again. I said that it was that deep, and I knew how Sam worked. If I did agree to a no questions asked approach, I did need to pick her up, and then I asked questions. She fly off the rails and accused me of backstabbing her, which she has done for other things in the past. Julie started banging on how I was implying she was irresponsible and that she was just trying to have Sam's back, and I was being a buzzkill and a nag that they never should have included me in the conversation. I could have said more because I really think Julie was in the wrong. I get the sentiment, but who even tells a 13-year-old there would be no questions for being in the worst possible place at 3 a.m., obviously. I left with a parting comment that I would pick her up if she needed me, but she didn't need to question that. But it's my responsibility as an adult to make sure everyone is safe, including her and her friends. Now I've been bombarded by people on social and some in real life telling me I'm a shit person for not agreeing to save my niece when she's in trouble, and that I'm never going to be the fun aunt or my niece's trust again. Some people are on the fence, but I think more the wrong than not. But I think I'm more the wrong than not, and that I got hooked into one possible scenario when it was just a blanket "I'll be there for you" thing. Kids are literally special Kids are literal, especially Sam. Honestly, don't see how I'm in the wrong, but every adult seems to think I'm so. I'm after second opinions of people disconnected from the situation. So, am I the asshole? Absolutely not. In my opinion, we'll get to the comments, but in my opinion, how can you be the asshole for like 13 years old? First of all, well, I'm from a different era because 13 years old, there'd be no way that I would be at some place 45 minutes away in some abandoned complex, um, by myself, much less be have the audacity to call my parents to come pick me up, because I know that there would be problems if I did that. So in my opinion, you're not the asshole. Let's see what the comments say, right? So this comment got 7,500 upvotes. So it says, my mom said I could phone her whenever and wherever, and she'd drop everything to come fetch me if I needed it, especially when drunk and alone. She never said there wouldn't be questions, but she promised I wouldn't get into trouble for calling or asking that she wouldn't or asking, and that she wouldn't make me feel guilty that I was asked. Not the asshole. Some questions need answered, especially if safety is to consider, and some can wait. What more the why and where were you what and what why and what were you thinking questions for the morning in a safe environment. Facts. Right? 2,500 upvotes. This part of people skipping no questions asked is how you accidentally enable the risky behavior. A better promise is call me anytime. I'll come get you. You're safe and we'll talk later. And yeah, if there's a friend involved, I'm not driving off while another kid's still out there. 100%. Right? So it seems that there's some good level-headed people on here where it's just like, especially at 13, of course you're going to come pick up the child, but at the same point in time it's like why are you there? What about your safety? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if you weren't able to actually call for a ride? Then what? Right? So like, there's a point where the kid's not an adult yet, where you need to there has to be some accountability to what's going on, and what reason they have to be there. So that's I like these stories. Like, I like looking at different things where we can see we can see different people's opinions and get what what's going on in the world. So what's your opinion? Was the poster an asshole? Should they have agreed that they would go and pick up their 13-year-old niece, no questions asked, no information necessary, bring the McDonald's to the situation? Or do you think that she's in the right? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is the first of many stories. Come check back tomorrow for the next story.